Human rights has certainly evolved since our country was first established, and we're headed in the right direction. Hopefully we will keep moving forward. My name is Paul Pasulka, Ivy Masters Learning Center and IvyMasters.com. And today we're going to look at Test 5, Section 1, numbers 17 and 18, which involve human rights. In passage 2, Grimke makes what point about human rights? So, it is paired. When you see paired questions like this, then what I suggest you do is, and this is usually a good approach, you want to be flexible, you go to the lines and first see what's answering the question. Usually you get rid of a couple of answer choices based on that. And then you come back and see which one has a match. If more than one of these lines legitimately answer the question, then only one of them is going to have a match. So it's got to answer the question directly and it's got to match. So, keeping in mind, it's Grimke's point about human rights. Answer choice A, human beings have rights because they are moral beings. The rights of all men grow out of their moral nature, and as all men have the same moral nature, they have essentially the same rights. So that is certainly giving us a view of a point that Grimke's making about human rights. Let's see if she's making a point here as well. These rights may be wrested from the slave, but they cannot be alienated. The title to himself is as perfect now as it is to that of Lyman Beecher. Who's Lyman Beecher? It has a little footnote. It's a famous minister and the father of Catherine Beecher, who is the author of Passage 1. Grimke here is responding to Catherine Beecher in Passage 1. It is stamped on his moral being, and like it, imperishable, so it cannot die. That's also making a point about what Grimke thinks about human rights. Let's see answer choice C. To suppose that it does. Suppose that it does what? We got to read before to get some context. Now, if rights are founded in the nature of our moral being, then the mere circumstance of sex does not give to man higher rights and responsibilities than to women. To suppose it does would be to deny the self-evident truth that the physical constitution is the mere instrument of the moral nature. So to suppose that it does, when she says that here, she's saying to suppose that whether you're male or female would make man have more rights or responsibilities. Like, do men have more rights and responsibilities than women? If they do, then that's going to break up utterly the relations of the two natures and to reverse their functions, exalting the animal nature into a monarch and humbling the moral into a slave, making it the former a proprietor and the latter its property. So, is she talking about human rights here? She's talking more here about, well, actually, it's responsibilities, but it's also rights. So, it is a point made about rights. C is valid as well. Answer choice D. When human beings are regarded as moral beings, sex, instead of being enthroned upon the summit, administering upon rights and responsibilities, sinks into insignificance and nothingness. So, based on that second, on the line references, it's really difficult to determine what the answer is. This is a difficult pair. So what we've got to do is we've got to see which one has a match. And that's going to, which one has a match here with number 18. Answer is A. They are viewed differently in various cultures around the world. Well, cultures around the world are not discussed. Answer choice B. They retain their moral authority, regardless of whether they are required by law. So she does talk about rights retaining moral authority. One thing that she does not discuss in every one of those 4 lines is law. And as it turns out, that's going to be the deal breaker as to what's the correct answer for number 18. So we go back. Where is law discussed? Here, these rights may be wrested, like taken from force from the slave, but they cannot be alienated. So you cannot, even though by law, not every person has rights, she's kind of saying, without saying God, like under God, everyone should have the same rights. It is their nature. Slaves should have the same right as your preacher dad, Miss Catherine Beecher. and it's imperishable. You cannot kill those rights. You cannot take them away. And the other answer choices do not mention the law, which is actually what makes answer choice B correct, and it is paired with, yes, that answer choice B. So that's your pair. Let's see why it's not answer choice C. They are sometimes at odds with moral responsibilities. She does not say that you have the right to do something, but it's morally wrong or something to that effect. That's no argument made in any of those 4 lines. And then answer choice D, they have become more advanced and refined throughout history. She's not tracing rights throughout history. Thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, click like. You can share it with someone who has trouble with these paired type questions. If there's any question you'd like to see answered from any official PSAT or SAT or ACT, leave that in the comments. I'd be happy to shoot a video on it. And click subscribe and ring the bell button so you don't miss anything. Have a great day.